Think back to the video game world of the late 2000s and early 2010s. The trend was clear. Streamline everything. Maps had blinking objective markers, quest logs spelled out every step, and games held your hand from the tutorial to the endgame. The prevailing industry assumption was that difficulty was a barrier to sales. Then in 2011, a game called Dark Souls arrived, and it didn't just buck the trend, it burned the rulebook to a crisp. Far from being a niche success, Dark Souls became a foundational text for an entire subgenre, the Soulslike. It systematically rejected accessibility in favor of something more profound, functional difficulty. This wasn't hard for the sake of being hard. Every painful, difficult element was there to serve a precise functional purpose, rewarding patience, observation, and player mastery over casual engagement. The core of the game's discipline design philosophy is the stamina economy. Before Dark Souls, stamina in ARPGs was often reserved for special attacks, but here it governs every critical maneuver: attacking, dodging, blocking, and running. This is the crucial distinction. By making stamina the immediate mechanical cost for everything, the design elevated resource management to the central focus of moment-to-moment gameplay. Overcommitment is often a death sentence. Commit to a long attack animation or a high-cost dodge roll in heavy armor, and you're briefly left unable to defend. This shifts your focus away from maximizing actions per minute, or APM, a staple of contemporary ARPGs, and toward optimization. You must constantly assess, what is the most efficient action I can afford right now? The combat becomes less about button mashing and more about a timing-based puzzle, a meticulous observation of enemy attack patterns. In Dark Souls, death is explicitly designed as an iterative learning mechanism, not a final failure state. Yes, the penalty is severe. You lose your accumulated currency, the souls, and all the common enemies reset. But the critical reward, player knowledge, is permanently retained. You learn the enemy patterns, the environmental hazards, the effective strategies. This brings us to the bonfire mechanic. It's your safe haven to level up, repair gear, and restock. But here's the genius of the trade-off. Using it resets the entire local world state, forcing you to re-challenge the same gauntlets. The frustration you feel in failure transforms into a deep sense of mechanical mastery upon success. The continuous cycle of death and resurrection, coupled with the penalty of resource loss, acts as a powerful form of procedural rhetoric. Your journey of overcoming immense odds directly mirrors the game's narrative theme of perseverance. You're not just succeeding, you're earning it. The physical structure of the game world, Lordran, operates as a critical design mechanic. Unlike many contemporary titles that were a series of discrete, self-contained levels, Dark Souls is a seamless, interconnected, and vertically integrated world. And this is a world without a map. The design choice to omit navigation aids like mini-maps or objective markers means that learning the map is not a secondary convenience, it's an integral component of the challenge. The greatest reward mechanism built into this architecture is the shortcut system. Discovering a hidden loop that links a geographically disparate area back to a starting bonfire is instantly satisfying. It's a tangible, practical reward for exploration and survival. This system turns simple traversal into a high-stakes puzzle, ensuring that the effort of exploration often yields an immediate practical benefit: reduced backtracking. This design philosophy, that difficulty must always be justified by purpose, is why the unlocking of fast travel is deliberately gated and difficult to obtain. Its acquisition is intended as a substantial, hard-earned reward for overcoming major obstacles. Dark Souls pioneered a method of storytelling known as description over exposition. The intense flow of combat and exploration is never interrupted by lengthy cutscenes or narrative dumps. Instead, The overarching plot and deep mythological lore are delivered minimally through cryptic conversations and, most significantly, the detailed text found within item descriptions. This fragmented, ambiguous nature of the lore deliberately forces players to synthesize disparate data points to construct a cohesive narrative, and this ambiguity is a masterstroke of design. It transformed the player base into active lore researchers. This necessity for collaborative investigation created a vibrant metagame outside the client itself. It led directly to the rise of specialized content creators who build entire brands on deciphering the lore. Deliberate ambiguity was the design input, and a self-sustaining cultural output was the result. This ethos extends to the game's ingenious asynchronous multiplayer. Bloodstains show you the exact location and manner of another player's recent death, acting as a procedural warning. Fleeing phantoms of other players running through their own world provides a subtle but psychological vital message. You are not alone in this difficulty. You get just enough human connection to validate your struggle without sacrificing the core environmental tension and necessary feeling of solitude. The commercial and critical triumph of Dark Souls was the definitive moment that proved the long-held industry assumption wrong. It achieved massive sales, validating that difficulty, when functionally integrated, is a marketable feature, not a barrier. And by doing so, it established a mechanical blueprint that has fundamentally changed game design. The Soulslike subgenre is defined by a mandatory set of requirements: stamina-based combat commitment, a constant willingness to learn from repeated failure, and a bonfire-like checkpoint system that acts as a risk-reward reset button. Dark Souls didn't just give us a new flavor of ARPG. It institutionalized the high-challenge market segment and gave the industry a reusable, scalable, and highly adaptable mechanical blueprint. It proved that empowering the player through earned knowledge and self-directed discovery can be far more rewarding and commercially successful than simply minimizing friction. The legacy of functional difficulty is clear. The tougher the struggle, the sweeter the reward. What was the first Souls or Souls-like game you ever beat? And what moment finally clicked for you? Let me know in the comments below. That's all for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.